Hello again, guys. Welcome back to another Big Al Devlin video here at the House of Devlin on YouTube. This video is really a continuation of my death experience, or death-like experience that I had 2 years ago. I just did a video on it, so it'll be in the same playlist as this video most likely. Or if you haven't seen it already, go watch it because it gives you a background to everything. But this particular video is about the possible reasons why I survived what I survived. I've told you about what I saw, the afterworld that I saw when I survived a car crash when I was, basically dead for about 30 to 40 minutes. But this video is more about what comes in after all that. It's a hard one to answer. I ended the video that I filmed on the topic with life and the meaning of life is an easy thing to answer. The meaning of life is simply to live. It's as simple as that. That's a spoiler alert. But the meaning of life is to live. If you want to go into detail, it's to do good to those that you love, and to protect them against all harm, I suppose. But the harder question to answer is, when you live, die, and then come back to live, what then is the meaning of life? Or more specifically, your life in particular, because it can't be to live. Because if it was to live, I don't know, it doesn't, from someone who's experienced circumstances, just to live does not feel, it doesn't sit right. If it was, I should be dead. I was fated by the gods, by Yggdrasil, by the Norns. I was fated to die at the age of 29. For those of you who don't know, I am a paganist. I wasn't a paganist until after the crash. I was an atheist, a staunch one at that. But after having gone through my death-like experiences, and they say you only believe what your eyes see, and what I saw has converted me into paganism. I say Nordic paganism because that's the branch of paganism that I just naturally fell into. It's my heritage, and it's also what I seem to have an affinity to. But I have love for all types of paganism. I don't care what type of label you put to yourself, if you're Celtic pagan, Nordic pagan, or whatever other type of pagan exists out there, doesn't matter. We're all brothers and sisters, and that's all. You're all family to me. That's all that matters to me. But obviously, I experienced what Celtic gods can call the waking dream. In Nordic paganism, I've not been able to find a name for the specific phenomenon as of yet, but if I do, I'll do a video on it. But it is related essentially to the utangard, which is the chaos, the wild, the uncivilized, the destructive elements of the world. And when one dies, basically what happens is you go from completely alive to mostly dead and partly alive, and then as you come back, you go back not to fully alive but mostly alive and partly dead. And it's that partly dead element of you that gives you this dissociative feelings, essentially, which the medical world give the label to, which is basically where you feel dead. You feel like you're in some kind of dream-like status, essentially, that maybe the world around you is some kind of afterlife or purgatory, that the people that you interact with may be figments of your imagination or divine beings there to soothe you, soothe your soul, so to speak, until you're ready to move on to maybe after some form of afterlife, after an afterlife, or maybe this is just literally the afterlife and that's it. And what you're seeing is your own personal heaven or hell or whatever you were experiencing at the time. For me, if that is the case, I'm experiencing a heaven, my own personal heaven. I am very happy with life to many ways. Obviously, I'm unhappy with the fact that my girlfriend was hurt during the crash, but I'm happy that she survived, and she survived well enough to be able to have some kind of life and relationship with me. But the true reality of it is that this is the real world. I'm fully aware of that now, having discussed in detail and watched the videos by Celtic God here on YouTube about the waking dream. But I discussed with him on private chat also further details about it all, and I did come to realise that this is the real world as he taught me, as he guided me. If he hadn't done that, then I think I would have lost my mind. I would have gone mad because I would have kept questioning everything, and it would reach the point where basically I would not have accepted anything of this around me as being reality. It still doesn't feel like reality, but I know it is. So it may not feel right, but I now have my mind telling me it is right. Whereas before, my mind was very much where my heart is. My heart is telling me things don't feel right, and my mind at the time was going, "Yeah, you're right. This isn't right. There's something wrong here. This must be the only." My mind came up with this logical explanation that yeah, this must be some kind of afterlife, and then eventually, obviously, you come with some short-term coping mechanisms, which for me were to accept that this is an afterlife, but that it could be a lot worse. It could be fire and brimstone, right? This is a pretty good afterlife because I have my family around me, I have my loved ones around me, so on and so forth, and really that's all I can ask for. So I'm not gonna shake the boat too much, so to speak, because I want things to stay as they are. But I lived in fear, of course, that this afterlife that is around me would one day go, that everything around would turn around to me and go, "Well, you're ready now. It's time to move on." You've obviously come to, you've lost any bitterness or any sorrow that you may have had for losing your life in the mortal realms, and you're now ready to move on. I don't know. I just lived in fear, basically, of losing everything again, but and having no control over it. However, obviously, undergoing what's called a waking dream, as has been described by me, essentially makes you potentially one of a few things. There's several fates available to you. You can lose your mind, as just discussed. And it's pretty easy to see why you can lose your mind when you're exposed to such experiences that only people who've been through death-like experiences can really, feel. In addition to this, the other option is, of course, that you don't just lose your mind, but you, of course, commit suicide. You have enough of it, and you just say, "Well, it doesn't matter, I'm dead anyway, might as well do it." Of course, that's a second option. And the third option is really only if you're lucky, really. And I was very lucky. I had Celtic God as a guide and teacher here, find me here on YouTube, and he explained to me what the waking dream is, which is the words, as I say, that or term that his clan gives to the condition. And as I say, I would love to find out what the Nordic term is. I really would, just simply so that I can perhaps research it in further detail from a Nordic perspective. It doesn't matter, but paganism is, whether it's Celtic or Nordic, is pretty much identical as it is anyway. There's just minor differences, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not putting boundaries between us for any other reason, just other than simply academia ones. I just want to go out there and research it a little bit more detail if possible, and share that research with Celtic God so he can see for himself what the Nords thought of this particular phenomenon, and hear what he has to say, because I respect his words, because he's a very wise man indeed. If you want to hear more about Waking Dream, I have done a video on it myself, but the true expert on it, my teacher and guide, regards of all of it, is Celtic God, and he is a featured member of my channel. So go to my channel, go either into the about section if you're on a mobile phone device, or if you're on a PC, go to my homepage, I think it is, and you'll see an icon saying Celtic God with a little sort of Celtic symbol next to it. If you click on that, that will take you to him, and you'll find videos on the Waking Dream. I think I did 3 videos in total regarding the subject, so it will educate you further about what I'm going through at the moment, what he himself has gone through for a lot longer than I have. Don't worry, guys, I may sound depressed or down at the moment, but I'm not. I'm just tired. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm struggling to sleep at the moment because my girlfriend had an operation last week, so things are a bit topsy-turvy at the moment. So I've just been looking after her, and I've just come to bed. So I thought just before I go to sleep, I'll try and empty my mind of certain thoughts and share them with you. So I'm sorry if I seem tired. I hope at least I'm coming across coherent at the very least. So this video really isn't about the waking dream. It's following on really from the first video that I did, which was about the death experience that I went through. And as I say, the consequences of that. I know why I fought as hard as I did to come back to the mortal realms. I came back to be with my loved ones, to protect them, I didn't want to leave Lauren alone in that car by herself. I remember she looked at me, and she said she thought I was dead. She looked at me, and I was face to face with her, like slumped over or whatever. And she looked at me when she first regained consciousness, and she was 100% certain in her heart of hearts that I was gone. I was dead. There was no breathing. There was no response. There was nothing. And she did obviously try to rouse me, but to no avail. And then obviously she realised her own injuries and became focused on herself at that point, especially as obviously she thought I was dead. One thing I can't forgive myself for is the fact that she was the first one to wake up and had to experience that. I did not want her. And I feel guilty in many respects. I know I shouldn't feel guilty, but I do, because it's my role in life to protect her from harm and suffering. I wish I had been the first to wake up, so that she did not have to see me essentially dead. I didn't want to bring that kind of sorrow in her heart for make her feel like maybe she'd lost me. I feel bad about that, but there's nothing I can do about the past. Nothing I can do about that. And in fact, actually, it was as I said in the first video that I filmed. If you haven't watched, please watch. It'll just make more sense to you if you have watched that. It was her screams that brought me back to this world, allowed me to swim through the darkness and back into the mortal realms and leave Voltvangir. Become part of the chaos once again. But basically, as I say, there's a third option. You can lose your mind, you can commit suicide, or you can understand what's going on with you. And as I say, I had a guide and a teacher that find me. How lucky was I to have Celtic God find me? I suppose it was fate. That's the way I like to look at it. But he found me here on YouTube explained to me what was going on with me. And for the first time in 2 years, I understood what was going. I suffered for 2 years, not knowing what was going on with me, thinking I was weird, thinking I was abnormal, thinking I was suffering in some unique way that no one else had before. And he guided me, and as soon as he said it, it made sense. You're in a waking dream, and as soon as he explained what a waking dream is, I felt relief, because I knew from my past life experiences before that I have ample amounts of discipline, and ultimately to control the what the Nords would describe the utangard, the chaos, so to speak, the wild, the things like this, the anarchistic and the destructive elements of you, which are become more profound perhaps when one has gone through a waking dream. Controlling them would be no problem to me. I have a lot of discipline. I've spent my whole life developing discipline in, through my martial arts, my weightlifting, and far more than just that. Also, my studies, everything. And so I knew that I could conquer this, not only conquer it, but fulfill whatever role I have here on this earth. I don't know what it is at the moment, and I'm not too bothered at the moment as to why I'm here. I believe it's to achieve some form of greatness. That might sound grandiose, it may sound over the top, but that's what I truly believe. I believe I'm here to achieve some greatness for humanity. It might not be a very small thing, may be a greatness on a very small scale. I'm not saying that I'm going to go out there and save the world. I don't think that. But it might be, for example, leaving this world when my final days finally do come. Leaving this world with more pagans in the world than when I first came into it. Using the internet like I am at the moment, and whatever else may be developed in decades to come, to touch the hearts of people like yourself who may be watching this video thinking about paganism and listening, or just hearing my words and thinking, I don't know. As I say, maybe that's my role here. I think it's part of why I'm still here, why I'm still alive, why Freya allowed me to return to this world. It's to bring more followers to her. But I do also believe that there's another thing as well. I don't know what it is, but that's part of the beauty of it, isn't it? I have to discover what it is. If I was told, do this, it'd be a simple job, yes? I would not understand the meaning behind doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I would believe that I wouldn't understand the significance of the journey to get there, or anything along those lines. I have to discover for myself why I'm here, and why I have to do whatever it is that I have to do. It may be as simple as protecting my girlfriend, loving her for the rest of my life and protecting her from harm. It may be as simple as that, because Freya may have seen how much love I had for her. For example, when I heard her screams and I just wanted to return back to her so hard that I actually physically tore myself from her own realms, that maybe she let me go, because she is, of course, the goddess of both war but also love. And I think maybe she let me go so that I could have the love that I have fought so hard for. In Celtic mythology, for example, Celts believe that death is mercy, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And that as a result, if a man wishes to stay in his body, even though fate has said, you are to die this day. If he wishes to stay in his body, however dismembered it may be, no matter how much pain he may be in, death will allow him to return to the body. That's what Celtics believe. But I believe that in this case, for me, from a Nordic perspective, that Freya, the goddess of love and war, the goddess of love, has allowed me to return to this world because she saw how hard I fought, despite the fact that I was surrounded by so much peace, by everything I'd ever really wanted, really, just peace, quiet. Even though I was surrounded by a paradise, I just fought to return to a chaotic world full of pain. And at that point, tremendous pain, because my body was in so much pain you cannot believe it. And the sights that I saw of, my girl's arm bent in two and her leg basically cut off there was nothing there basically. How the doctors managed to reattach that as well as they did, I don't know. But basically, I think the fact that I think Freya allowed me to come here to love. But I also feel that there is a third reason. As I say, first reason is to teach, to bring more pagans into the world. Second reason is to love and protect and guard those that I love. And the third reason, I believe, is something that I have to discover. Perhaps it's more linked to one of her other aspects. She's the goddess of love and war. I hope that I'm not involved necessarily in something to do with that, but perhaps there is something, I don't know, that ahead of us where I would play an important role in either preventing or winning or being involved in some kind of war in the future. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws there. I don't know. I'm just trying to logically look at things, but I don't think logically looking at things under such circumstances is the right way of doing this. I simply just have to sit back, wait, keep my eyes open, listen, and gain as much wisdom as possible. That's what I intend to do. I'm going out into the world, experiencing as much of the world as possible, a bit like Odin when he travels through Midgard. I'm going through the world, learning as much about it as possible, so that when, the signs are there, I recognise them, I suppose. Really, that's my thoughts on that. The reason why I'm still alive. I'm confused, as you can see, because I'm not sure why. But one thing I'm certain of in my mind, in my heart, and in my mind, is that I'm here to love and protect those I care for, and I will do so with furious might if I have to. If they're ever threatened, I will protect them. With my life if need to be. I have no fear of death, and as I say, one of the things is, as I say, I was lucky enough to have Celtic God guide me in controlling the utangard within me, the chaos and the fire and the fury, so to speak, that comes with it. And one of the things is, of course, one of the things about becoming or going through such an experience is that it makes you inferior, a holy man amongst pagans. Typically I would join, say this was 1,000 years ago, I would join a war band like the Berserkers, and I would learn from them their ways of controlling or using the utangard in this case, or the waking dream or whatever. They would teach me ways of using it. But such war bands no longer exist, and so I feel that this is something I have to do by myself, or perhaps forming one of these sort of groups. Perhaps that's one step, That's one reason why I'm so keen on creating a online pagan community, because I hope that maybe I can find some more people like myself, like Celtic Guard, so on and so forth, and we can group together and form a new group, a new order, so to speak, where we can all share our own experiences, our own beliefs, our own thoughts, and our own coping mechanisms for dealing with the utangard, the chaos, the waking dream. Thank you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. It's 4 o'clock here in England. I've gone on quite a while, but these are important things that I need to talk about and put out there whilst I remember, because the problem is I do have amnesia. So I have to sometimes, when I get a thought, I've got to talk about it there and then, because otherwise it won't necessarily be there when I need it most. So I'm talking about it now, before I can forget it or remember it just at a time that's inconvenient. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tolerating my kind of sleepiness. And if for some reason it's taking such a negative impact on the video, listening to me in such a sleepy manner, I will refilm. I'll rewatch the videos and I'll refilm it when I'm more awake and more lucid, so to speak. But I still feel that I made my points as best as possible. But if I haven't, please put it in the comments below, because this video and all the other videos that I do on paganism are here not only for me, but they're here mostly for you. I want fellow pagans to watch these videos, to learn, and to come to myself and Celtic God, to learn further, to create a community. As I say, maybe even create a sort of a group, so to speak, for those of us who have gone through the waking dream, so that we may better, all of us may better handle it and focus it into something that will do something good for this world. Thank you very much. That's good night from me, and farewell. Good night, guys. It's very late, so good night. Bye bye.